Nerd.
Hello everyone, I'm Josh, that nerdy rabbit, and today I want to talk to you about Dungeons and Dragons. Now, as the title says, it's not just for neckbeards. Now, what I mean about that is that there's still a lot of people out there who don't know what Dungeons and Dragons is, or they think it's still for the uber nerd or the guy who lives in his mom's basement. And that's just not true. All sorts of people play this, all the way from celebrities to normal people. Now, if you're curious about what Dungeons and Dragons is, you've come to the right place. Dungeons and Dragons is a pen and paper fantasy role-playing game that you play with others. Now, what you do is you create a character and you're set off on an adventure that's laid out by the Dungeon Master, or the DM for short. Now, the thing about Dungeons and Dragons that sets it apart from other games is just how open it is, and you can pretty much do whatever you want, unlike a lot of the other games that are out there, and some of the video games for that matter. Now, so say you and your party come across a band of bandits. I mean, what are you going to do? Do you go in fighting every single one of them? Do you come up with tactics to try to either sneak up or around them? Do you try and negotiate with them? Or do you even try and romance one of them? Choice is up to you. The characters you can make are varied as well. So if you want to make a gnome fighter who
kicks ass and charges through the battle,
or you want to make an orc bard who is
Suave and gets all of the lovin'.
you can. Now, don't let the roleplay part of that scare you. It's nothing that you have to absolutely do. The fantasy part of the game is set up by you and the other players. Now, me personally, I love that. And I love getting into my character. I love developing their backstories. And one of the other great parts about the game is that you can set it anywhere. So if you want to be in mystical lands or cartoon place, just any setting that you want to put it in, you can. And that's what's great about it. Now, there are rules to the game, but you can think of them more as guidelines. So if there's a rule that doesn't really mesh well with you and your group, toss it out. Make your own rules. You and your group can make the game either as hard or as easy as you want. Now, if this seems like something you'd like to get into or like to check out, it's easy to get started. The Dungeons and Dragons website has a lot of info on how to get started, as well as character sheets and things like that. Or if you want, you can go out and go pick up the starter kit, Dungeons and Dragons starter kit. Now in here you get a pre-made story, you get the player's rulebook, you get pre-made characters, and a set of dice. Now one of the things about that though is that if you're going to be playing with other people, you're going to have to go out and go get more dice. Now the good thing about that though too is they're real cheap and inexpensive and easy to get. You can either go down to your local comic book shop to either get the starter set and the dice, or check Amazon. Now what I'll do is I'll post a link to the actual Dungeons and Dragons website so you can get more info. Now to give you an idea of some of the things that can be done with Dungeons and Dragons, I'll tell you a little bit about one of the sessions that me and my group had experienced. Now, I was set up as the DM, and my players had met a gnome. And this gnome had transported them from one land to the next. And one of the last places that they ended up landing was a cartoon land. Now, when they got there, they met with the Smurfs, and the Smurfs were being oppressed by Eeyore. The group eventually defeated Eeyore, and then shortly after that went down to the town and met with Rainbow Bright. And shortly after that, she was shanked to death by Strawberry Shortcake. Yeah, pretty demented, but made for an interesting campaign. That's for sure. But after that, they went down over to the docks and met with Skeletor. When they met with Skeletor, he was fighting He-Man, who actually ended up being a bad guy. And Skeletor ended up being a pacifist, and he didn't help them fight. They weren't too happy about that. But it was more them not being happy with Skeletor. They ended up meeting with Captain Planet, who told them that they needed to go out and destroy the actual true oppressor of the Smurfs, and sent them on their way. as they went back to go meet with the Smurfs, they ended up meeting the Muppet Babies, who helped them get back over there to that area where they ended up finding a demonic Winnie the Pooh. And to me, it was a pretty crazy story, but they had fun. If you want to see how other sessions can go, I'll be putting a link to a playlist for one of my favorite shows to watch. It's Dice Camera Action, and it's on the actual D&D YouTube channel. Now, with there, you can see how the players interact, see how sessions can actually go when they're not super crazy like some of mine can go. Chris Perkins is a great DM, does excellent storytelling, and the players all get into it, and they're a great cast of characters to watch. Adventures can be really fun and interesting. And what I'll also be doing is I'll be doing more videos about other Dungeons & Dragons things that are out there. So I'll do things on classes and on races, and as well as some of the other mechanics and features that are part of Dungeons & Dragons. Now, I'm not going to kick back and do any videos on this is the best class race mixtures, or this is the best spell or maneuver, or the worst ones at all, because what it ultimately comes down to is what you think of it. I'm not going to put my opinion out there, because something that works for me may not work for you and your group. I want you to be able to experience it, but I can provide you with any kind of information that I get. Now, if you guys have any specific videos that you'd like to see, post a comment down below, and I'll do my research. I'll do what I can to give you as much info as possible, and hopefully it might turn you on to actually wanting to check some new features out about Dungeons & Dragons. With that, I'm Josh the Nerdy Rabbit. Now, if you like this video, hit the like button, hit that subscribe button if you're not already subscribed, and hit the little notification bell so you know when I put out new content. Share it with your friends, with family, with everybody. Share it to the world. Hopefully this might be able to give you a little bit more insight as to what D&D is, how it can be played, and maybe you might be able to get somebody new for your group by sharing it with them. I'll see you guys in the next video.